Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Jay the One-Eyed Gamer video, and today I want to discuss Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave and the fact that there hasn't really been any new information on this game since its reveal in September, and we're going on 7 months at this point with like no new information whatsoever. We still only have the very first trailer we were given from the Nintendo Direct and nothing else from that, and it's kind of crazy in my opinion, only because it's my most anticipated game of the year, and the fact that there's no new information has been driving me crazy, and it doesn't help the fact that I've had somewhat of a Fire Emblem itch as of late. And Bob did convince me to give Three Houses another shot. I did play the game back when it came out in 2019. I wasn't really driving with it when I played, so I put it down, and I made it clear that I've never been like the biggest fan of Three Houses. I didn't think it was a horrible game, it just didn't click with me. But thanks to Bob's pretty much prodding and the fact that I was watching a lot of Three Houses lore videos and actually videos on YouTube talking about Fortune's Weave as well and what it could possibly be, it piqued my interest and I was like, you know what, let me give Three Houses another shot. And so I did, and I actually just finished one of the first routes I've ever done on the game, and that being the Golden Deer route, which I really enjoyed, and it got me interested and even more hyped for anything Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave related, just because again, we know it's connected to Three Houses in some way. We just don't know if it's a prequel, a sequel, or an alternate universe. But either way, that Fire Emblem itch was scratched, but then it also came with the caveat that I want to know more on Fortune's Weave, and it just got tiring because there's not a lot of information on the game out there than what's already been provided all the way back from September. Now when I say that, I mean official information, like from Nintendo themselves. We have gotten one new bit of information from the game, and that comes from us courtesy of PEGI. And if you guys don't know what PEGI is, it is the game rating system over in Europe. So pretty much think to the equivalent of our ESRB. And from my knowledge, you can't submit anything to this review board without the game being content complete, which you're going to get on the game from day one. So when you do this, I'm led to believe that means that you are handing them a basically finished product. What we know about the rating is that it got a PEGI rating of 12, and if you look at the conversion rate over to our ESRB if you live in America, that is basically the equivalent of a teen rated game. But what's interesting about that is usually when we get this information, a reveal or a release date is usually not too far behind from this, because again, you are giving them basically what is going to be the launch day edition of the game with all the content in it. So for a lot of us, when we got that information, and I think it happened in about early to mid-April, we thought, okay, maybe by the end of April, we will have a trailer or something about Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave, which unfortunately we didn't. In its place, we did get the release of another game, Splatoon Raiders, that got its release, and I think it's going to be a July release. Didn't really pay attention to it that much, but the fact that we still know that Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave does have at least its PEGI rating means that a reveal for a release date should be imminent. It just depends on when Nintendo wants to reveal it itself. And to that effect, I have two opinions I think Nintendo will go with when we'll get this next information. Now the first opinion I think is the most likely, and that is we're going to get a shadow drop of a new trailer with the release date as well. Now the reason I think very highly of this is because we look at other games that Nintendo has done this for. They did it for the new Yoshi game, which I think is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. They did it for Splatoon Raiders like we saw. I think they also did it for the new Rhythm Heaven game that's also coming out in July. So I'm led to believe that Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave will probably follow suit in that regard, because it really looks like Nintendo wants to use the Nintendo Today app to really get some of that information out there instead of waiting for like a big direct. That's my own personal opinion from what we've seen, and I obviously have stuff to back that up again with the Yoshi, Splatoon, and the Rhythm Heaven games all having their release dates and new trailers drop on the app first, and then it makes its way to the other social sites as well to get that information. So that's why I seem to think that that's a high probability for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave to follow in that. And now the other option I think that could happen, which I think is very unlikely, is it showing up in the next big Nintendo Direct. And we don't currently know when that is. It's always speculated that there's going to be a June one, but we have no idea if Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is going to be included in that, only because usually in that Direct, they also foreshadow the rest of the year. So we would be looking at games that would be coming out relatively around like September all the way up to December, potentially all the way into like January, February of the following year. And since we know Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave is a 2026 game that doesn't have a release date as of right now, it could theoretically show up in that big June Direct that we're talking about. But I feel like if it does, it might not have a lot of time to let the hype cycle, so you know, the marketing and everything get going so that the game's ready, because I assume it's going to be a summer game. And the reason I think that is because there's rumors going around that it is going to be a summer title. And if you look at that, you pretty much are left with June, July, and August, and the beginning parts of September. Now, July is pretty much off the table only because we have Splatoon Raiders coming out that month, as well as the Rhythm Heaven game as well coming out. So that would leave June, August, and September. And I highly doubt that it's going to come out in June, only because if it is revealed now in May, you have potentially a month at best to start the marketing cycle, get the hype hype going for the game. And I don't think Nintendo's wants to do that for a game that they're probably considering at least a high profile, only because it did finish the September Direct. It didn't start, it wasn't in the middle, it was a closer, which means they have some high expectations for the game. So I don't think they would do anything to undermine its ability to sell. So that's why I'm fairly confident that the game is not going to come out in June. I think it's going to be an August, September game, because if the game does get revealed via the first method I talked about, so using the Nintendo Today app to get that trailer with the release date information out, and if it's an August, September game, we now have anywhere between 2 to 3 months of marketing cycle to start up. So, you know, get the hype going, get marketing going around the game, and just get people really hyped, play the game, whether it comes out, like I said, in August or September. Now, with that, what would I want the second trailer to do? The main focus, obviously, give us the release date, but that would probably come at the very end of the trailer. But if I had to pick what I'd want from a second trailer, I would just want more information on the story, the combat, and the mechanics of the game. You don't have to go super in depth, maybe like a 2-minute trailer just showing us like maybe, hey, this is Kai's gameplay as opposed to this is Theodora's gameplay, this is opposed to Dietrich's gameplay, and this is opposed to Lita's gameplay, you know? And maybe also show off some of the other characters that aren't the 4 characters we're going to be using in the game, like maybe some of their companion characters or just some other random guys, you know? Give us something to do other than that, and then maybe go a little in depth to the mechanics as well. So like maybe the cursed blaze meter, maybe we could find out some more concrete information about that, and also potentially like maybe how the class system would work, how the monastery phase with air quotes, how that's going to work, and maybe the biggest factor of all, letting us know if this game is going to be a route game like Three Houses, or if it's going to be something more akin to Radiant Dawn or Shadows of Valentia, where you could switch between the main characters and then keep that going until potentially maybe they form into one big army to take on the real big bad of the game. That's my own personal opinion, but they could at least alleviate some of that fears by telling us like, hey, this is what you're going to do in the game. You pick a character and you do their story up until you become one big army, or you're letting us know, hey, you'll be jumping in between their stories until you become one big army. That's if you become one big army. The only reason I think you're going to do that is because it's called Fortune's Weave. So what do you do when you weave things? You bring them together into one. It's not like going down 3 different houses. That's my own personal opinion on the game. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, how hyped are you for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave? Also, which method do you think they're going to go with to reveal the release date for this game? Do you think they're going to do the Nintendo Today app like they've done for the others, or do you think it is going to show up at the next big Nintendo Direct, hopefully in June? And why not keep the fun going? Because you've probably been seeing it in the B-roll footage because it's the only trailer we got. Which of the 4 main characters are you really interested in? Personally, my 2 favorites are Theodora and Dietrich. I think they look amazing. I do like Kai and Lita as well, but just something about those 2 really stick out to me. Please let me know in the comments section how you feel about all this. And also, how funny would it be if the day I put this video up is the same day that Nintendo finally gives us the release date and the new trailer for Fortune's Weave, and by doing so makes this video completely obsolete? I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't even be angry, because as long as we got new information on Fortune's Weave, I would be the happiest guy in the world. But without further ado, everyone, I want to thank you very much if you managed to make it this far in the video. I want you all to have a great day. I want you all to be safe out there, and remember, let's rock.